Now we've got the touch plate. Wires with a magnet, touch plate, that's it. Wire. There's a touch plate. That's what we got. Now for the touch plate, I'm going to come over here. You notice right here, we've got a probe and ground. I'm just going to pull this out, because that right there is where our wires are going to go. Now with it turned, the screws up, take the two wires, split them apart, make sure the black goes on the right. Take a screwdriver and tighten them up. And when the small flathead screwdriver that you were going to use doesn't work, you get the smaller one. But black wire on the right with the screws facing up. Screw those all the way up. Push the wires in. Screw them back down. Now again with the screws up, black wires on the right. Push them all the way in. Okay. they're tight. And take this end of the wire, plug it into the touch plate, and you're good to go. I'll just take this back over here, black being ground, just turn it back around like it came out, and there we are. We now have our touch probe. Now that we have it all together, this magnet attaches to the collet. This, if you want to set just the Z, goes on top of your stock. For X, Y, and Z, goes on the corner. But I highly recommend you test it first. Don't just rely on it working. There are two ways of testing it. One, you can put this on your stock and put this on your collet. This is the I trust everything will work fine mode. Make sure your dust shoe, if you have it, is not attached, and make sure your hand is very close to the e-stop when you go to 0. What I found on mine, I checked the wires on the plug end, but this right here, even though these were tight, there's one right there and one right there. Even though they were tight and I couldn't pull it out, the wire was not actually touching the clip. It's really easy to take apart, just unscrew it. So the first time I went with the I trust everything will work method. The first time I tried it, this was sitting on the corner of my stock, and there are two spots for it. But I had it sitting on the corner of my stock, and when the bit came down to do Z, which it does first, I saw this move. This should never move. If it does, stop it immediately and raise up your router. Then go back and check, take this apart, put it back together. One time of trusting it would work was enough for me, and that's where I went for a continuity tester. This does require pulling the probe out of the control box. But if you do that and you have a continuity tester, you can put one end on one screw, let's say the red screw. You see that red wire? Put the other end on top right here. When I did that, I got nothing. When I checked the other side by putting it down here on the screw above the black wire, and I put the other end on the magnet, I had continuity. So I knew it was something between here and here. And that's when I took this apart. So you can either start off with the I trust everything will work route, but have your hand on that e-stop ready to shut it down, or you can just start off with a continuity tester. If you don't have one, obviously you're stuck, but you can still do it if you pay attention to this connector and this connector. There's not much you can do about this one, but I've seen people, you know, put a wire here to a battery and then put the other end, you know, try and complete a circuit with a light bulb. Whatever works for you, but I do highly recommend you test it before you rely on it, and always be ready to shut it down if you see this move on your stock. Okay? Just save you a little hassle. And there we have it. Complete assembly of the LongMill 30x30 with the dust shoe and the touch probe it's been a long road. None of it's been hard. I'll be doing a more of a review of my experience putting it together, but none of it was hard. It was a little difficult getting some bolts into the nuts and stuff like that, but the instructions are very clear. I have actually run it since assembly before putting this out, but I wanted to get start to finish uploaded so that we can move on. And that's going to do it for my assemblies for a while. If you like this video, this series of videos, or maybe you just hope I get off of this kind of video, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of future videos. Have a great one.